Hello there. Welcome to the Spanner and Spoon Show. Our latest adventure is called The Queen's Dilemma. But first, we will be interviewing musicians for our world tour. After our interview, we will have episode 1 of The Queen's Dilemma, where anything can and will happen. So what we're trying to do here is the Spanner and Spoon Show are trying to put a band together. Now,
yes.
I obviously are going to be playing the spoons. I think, Spanner, what was you playing? I can't remember now.
The sackbut.
The sackbut, yes. He's playing the
It's also
sackbut.
morphed into the trombone.
And wasn't you going to put a big line of bagpipes together too?
Yes, and 3 bagpipers we've got in line, and then I'm going to put some cymbals between my knees.
Oh, that sounds...
And a snare drum on my back, and a tennis racket handle on my arm. And go at it like a wounded chicken until we find a proper drummer, which is why I think we're in luck today. Who have we got today, Spanner?
Well, we've got this wonderful drummer called Andy Edwards.
Hello, Andy.
Hello, Andy.
Hello, Spoon. Hello, Spanner. Very
Where are you
very
beaming
proud.
to us from?
I'm in my bedroom at the moment.
Have you just
So
got up
I'm
then?
about.
I've heard of
Yes,
bedrooms.
I've just got up about 10 minutes ago.
Right,
Nice.
I see.
I usually sleep till the crack of noon.
Do you?
Same with me. Being a musician, that is part of the thing to be a musician. So when I can, I try and lie in bed till very late, which I've done today. I wouldn't have got up if it wasn't for coming on your show.
Well, I don't blame you.
Do you remember Tony Orlando?
Yes,
Tony Orlando.
I do.
Do you know when he died?
no.
Or where he
Is
died?
it just
No.
after the bus hit him?
He died at the crack of dawn.
Who's Dawn? Oh, you're so funny, Spanner.
Not
You really
3
are.
times on the ceiling. There he went. So, Andy, I have a drummer question for you.
Yes.
If you were in India and a little child wanted you to guess his age, you said, "How old are you, little child?" And he went, "Talkie to talkie talkie." How old would he be?
Oh, talkie to talkie talkie. Does that equate to 7.5?
Talkie to talkie talkie. No, it's actually 7, but very good. That was close. And his little sister, talkie to talkie. How old is she?
I have no idea what you're on about.
Would she be 3?
No, that's their little nephew, Talkie. No, Talkie-ta. Talkie-ta is 3.
It's 3. I
Talkie
see.
to Talkie
Yes.
is 5.
Oh, of course it is.
Let's just hope there are drummers watching that have an idea of what you're talking about.
Well, there was a famous drummer who had chafed thighs named Gary Chafee. And he sort of, I think what he did was he took modern sort of drummage in the Western world and he said, "Oh, kids in Eastern countries have been talking in odd times for years. The little 3s are talkie-tas and the 2s are talkies. So, Gavin, here's your test. What time is this?"
Who's Gavin? I've told you this before. I'm
damn.
Spoon.
Here we go. Cut.
You-
So, Spoon, here's your question. How old is this kid? Talkie to talkie to talkie to talkie.
537.
Close. He's 11.
Oh, I don't know why I got that wrong.
Thanks for joining us today, Andy. We're out of here.
This has been very educational so far.
I think we're going to do a runner.
When did you start playing the drums, Andy?
Oh, I would say it was around about 7:15.
Oh, that's a good time to start playing drums in a bedroom.
I was told by many people who know about drumming that 7:15 was the optimum time.
Yes.
I think that's because Max Roach started playing at 7:15. And I think once he did it, everybody wanted to do it, so I decided to do it 7:15.
Well, I bet that took a lot of thought.
It did. I knew what I was doing when I was young.
Well,
I no longer know what I'm doing.
well,
But I did know what I was doing when I was young, when it came to drumming.
I think you should join the club with the not knowing what you're doing, because I think Spanner and I haven't got a clue, have we?
I don't know,
definitely
really.
don't.
I mean, being new into this dynamic between, the both of you, I think it's quite apparent that there's a sort of a little bit of a fight going on to who's the boss in this situation.
It's me. Me.
I would have thought that. Yes, I think that's. But although Spoon is a little bit.
But that just might be what I think.
I think Spoon being a little bit meeker is having to put up a little bit of a fight here.
I do.
To just. Yes, and I do feel
I
sorry
do.
for you, Spoon, having to, have to
Put
try
up
and
with
get
him.
your.
Oh
Yeah,
my
and
God,
I-
I'm gonna vomit.
But you and I think, I mean, why do you keep calling him? Why do you keep calling him Gavin all the time? It's just, I had a friend that used to call me Gavin all the time.
He has a lackey named Gavin who does stuff for him.
Yes,
I know, and
do.
you shouldn't name him after his lackey. Yeah, you should name him after his lackey.
But as far as feeling sorry for him, that's one of his manipulation techniques, to appear as though he's helpless and
Oh,
pathetic.
yes. Well, Spanner, let me remind you, shall I, that I was a master criminal, and I still have all my contacts. So don't push it, you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Now you ask Andy a question, Spoon, if it's okay with you whenever you feel like doing it, darling.
Okay, shut it then. Right, well, our writer, we have two writers actually, but my writer, Gavin, he used to play the drums. In fact, he does play the drums. And he was not too bad at it, you see. And when he played the drums, he used to play the drums in the loft at his old house. So he never had to worry about the 7:30 start, you see, because nobody had a clue where the sound was coming from.
that's quite clever, but there's a danger of doing that. I would never play the drums in the loft because I'm not so keen on spiders, and I would be worried that the vibration coming from the drums would emanate up into the roof, dislodging large spiders that would then rain down upon me, making my focus on my rudiments, the ratimikus and paradiddles to which I am, working towards all the time, that I focused on those would be destroyed, by the arachnid rain.
I see. Well, actually,
You'd be lofting music.
Lofting
Caught with a spider. Hope I don't get inside her. He's lofting music.
well,
He's lofting music.
well, Gavin used to say he kept smacking his head on the rafters, which was the worst bit.
That is a terrible thing. He obviously wasn't that well off when he was younger, because some people have vast lofts, don't they?
Oh, no, this was a tiny affair. It
A
hadn't
tiny
even...
loft, yes.
Yes, it hadn't even got proper floorboards, you know.
Really?
No, it's terrible. And once he was doing a roll, because you remember in the olden days when more drums seemed to be better than less drums, and he'd managed, sorry, not me, because that'd be silly. Spanner's just buggered off. I don't know why. Probably because I'm talking. Anyway, so he used to have so many drums that he actually managed to poke a drumstick through the tile. Out of the roof.
Out of the roof?
Yes, he got into a lot of trouble
Between
about
the
that one.
slates?
Yes, that's the one.
Oh,
Got stuck, couldn't get it back.
Oh, my God.
It did, yes. So we know you started at 7 something.
Yes.
But really, what age was you at 7:30?
Oh, the age.
Yes.
I was about 12 years old. It was 1980.
Oh.
It was February 1980.
I see.
around about the time that Bon Scott, the lead singer of AC/DC, died.
Oh, was the two
Because
connected?
I remember that event.
Was the two connected?
I've never thought of that.
Did you say
I think
something
I
to him?
started. I don't know. I mean, he was in the UK at the time, I believe, when it happened.
Did you call him up and tell him he was terrible?
Well, I was only 12 years old. I don't think I would have held that much sway over Bon Scott at that point.
Oh, maybe
Really,
not.
all being able to even have a telephone to do such a things back in the 1980s
True.
at that time. The only people who had
That-
telephones were parents.
That
And
is
you would
true.
have to ask permission, and I would have asked to say, Mom, can I ring up Bon Scott, lead singer of AC/DC? And they would have said, no, you don't be so silly.
Isn't?
Of course they would have.
AC/DC. Oh, yes. Now, isn't the lead singer...
They were
They were
electrifying,
electrifying. Yes.
but you couldn't tell which way.
No. It was either DC... I think they started...
Da 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 da.
Are you a fan? Are you a fan, General Span? Do you like AC/DC?
Oh, I'm back in black. It's got to be back. That blue set of I make up my own words.
Yes, well, I think they did.
AC/DC are absolutely amazing until their singer...
Did you hear Highway to Heck?
He's done it again.
He talks over you, doesn't he?
He does.
On the highway
Oh,
to
I
Heck.
would say he's passive aggressive, General Spanner, but I think he's just aggressive. I don't think there's any passive bit there anymore.
Have you
Yes.
seen him with a machete in the jungle?
No,
I'm
I haven't
having-
actually.
I'm having coffee.
He's terrifying.
Shut up.
He's terrifying. Tell me. Anyway,
Is he?
AC/DC.
Andy,
Yes, the lead singer.
Edwards.
No, the lead singer of AC/DC.
tell us about your YouTube. Oh, go ahead. No, tell us about your YouTube channel.
Oh, I've got a choice here. I could either talk about...
Stick that bear up your
Because
spoon.
I do want to know about, Spoon's theory about Brian Johnson, which I think he's going to proffer.
Of course, yes.
And of course, I could, being a professional YouTuber, I can bring those two together because these are precisely the things that I would discuss on my YouTube channel. So I have a
Oh.
YouTube channel where I would discuss, who is the best, Bon Scott or Brian Johnson. I rank different albums. I talk about music. I talk about jazz and progressive rock. Sometimes heavy metal. Sometimes a bit of philosophy, and sometimes a little bit of comedy if the mood takes me.
I see.
And that's what I do.
Nice.
And for some
Yes.
reason, it seems to be doing relatively well, especially amongst the older gentlemen.
Oh, you mean the old gits?
I have a nice. Yes, the old gits. I think that's the market I've been able to really corner, is the grumpy old gits that like Pink Floyd, basically.
Exactly. Well, Andy, I can see you have over 30,000 subscribers
Yes.
on your channel.
Over 30,000, yes.
I reckon you have to take quite...
80% of them over 80.
That's not a joke.
I reckon you have to take quite a lot of clothes off to get 30,000.
Well, I've found that I have been able to offer other visual services to, the older gentlemen without resorting to such displays.
Stick twirling. He does this.
That's-
Stick
yes.
twirling. Ooh.
Well, there's many YouTubers out there. They're all rubbish, of course, and they're my competition, but they don't really hold a candle to me because they're too serious, you see. And I know that an older gentleman is interested in other things. They have an interest in other things apart from just, old rock bands. For
Yes.
example, biscuits. So I will do extra stuff on biscuits. I've covered different Mustaches through the ages. There's all sorts of things I will cover. I'm not afraid to go near any subject, however taboo.
Ah. So, were those the chaps with the mustache guys? The ones that you were hanging out underneath a bridge with?
Yes, I had to do a certain amount of research for that. and all that was all involved with it, because of course the moustache, which starts off as a sort of symbol of a masculine power, was, around about 1960s, 70s, it was, you've got Burt Reynolds there with his moustache, which is a symbol of extreme masculinity, I would have thought. And then before we knew it, homosexuals were portraying a different side of masculinity, and that's very, very strong in rock music. You could see, if you're in Black Sabbath in 1970, you were all going to have a really good moustache going, but then a few years later we see Freddie Mercury and a whole host of other people. It's actually I'm very interested in the moustache in music history. It's a very interesting thing.
Do you think it's fun to stay at the YMCA?
YMCA.
Is it actually fun?
I don't think it's that much fun, really.
You can get yourself clean. You can
Yeah, you can
do what you really feel at the YMCA with your mustache at the Y.
Yeah.
I thought Freddie Mercury's moustache was because he'd had a bit of an argument with a broom.
I like Tom
I don't think he
Selleck's
was.
mustache. Tom Selleck. Looked like a large
General Spanner, I must agree with you there. I did offer that as the summit, really, of the moustache in cultural history. I mean, Hitler had his moustache, didn't he? Frank Zappa had a very iconic moustache, but I think Tom Selleck has cornered. He's cornered it, and I think it's because if you look at his actual hair on his head and look at his moustache, it's exactly the same hair. So I actually think Tom Selleck, in a way, is made out of a moustache, if that makes sense. Does that?
Yes, it does.
He's totally follicle.
It does.
Yes, I would say that. Totally
He's
follicle.
diapholical.
Do you notice I have to put on a fake laugh when he does something funny? Because I do.
I actually did find diapholical funny,
Did you?
You can use it. It's yours, Andrew.
Yes. I will. Because I love to take the mickey out of the follically challenged out there. Of course, none of us are we?
No.
None of us are.
No.
Talking to a couple of slapheads.
Yeah, slapheads. I mean, they're the worst, aren't they, really? I mean, what's your opinion on slapheads?
Oh,
well, if you're losing your hair in the back, you're sexy.
You've told
us. If you're
this
losing it in the front, you're a thinker. So we think we're sexy.
If you were bald, that is. Of course, you're not bald.
Spoon, stick it in your ear.
I stick what in my ear? I don't...
Busting me for using the same corny jokes.
Yes.
Those are the only ones I know.
Well, you're nothing if repeated. I mean, you do repeat on the odd occasion. I think it's your age.
There's an interesting cultural phenomenon that when I was a young man, that bald men, and I mean truly bald men, were few and far between. We had Yul Brynner and Kojak. That was it.
Oh,
and
they
then
were good
B.A.
slapheads, they
Baracus
were,
come
weren't
along. Oh God, that was when being a slaphead meant something. And now you walk out the house and there's completely bald slapheads everywhere. It's become de rigueur for people to have bald heads. And
you say, "Who loves you, baby?" And they look at you funny.
Exactly.
They don't even know what you mean. No. Only the king and I get it.
I tell you what, Spanner, you're on form today, aren't you? Have you been on drugs?
Coffee.
Have you been on drugs again?
Caffeine, baby.
Caffeine, yes. We've got this new drug called Spondylaceous, and it makes Spanner completely stupid. Yes, that shut everybody up, didn't it?
Is that the one that's taken over from fentanyl in the US?
I know, it's called Spondylacus. I invented it.
How could you improve
Oh, you
on
invented
fentanyl?
it.
Oh, yes.
18 grams, 18 little, like little sandy grams of fentanyl in your coffee.
I
and
shove
you're
it in
dead.
his
Now that's
coffee.
what I call a party. That's a
Well,
party.
General Spanner, I have detected an accent from the New World there, and so I'm assuming that would be the sort of thing you would, of your choice, running around, maybe have a gun in hand and fentanyl in the old coffee. I could see that as being
Shooting
the
the
American
fentanyl
way,
freaks.
isn't it?
Yes. God
It
bless
is.
the fentanyls.
Yes, it's a
I'm a fentanyl sentinel.
yes. Well, we live in Becking's Ferret. I don't know whether you've heard of Becking's Ferret.
I'm a child of
Well,
the
that's who you're
world.
backing in the U.S. election.
Beckins ferret. David Beckins ferret.
Becking doesn't exist, but we do. Aha! So, shall we ask a proper question then, Spanner?
Yes.
Okay.
Were these not proper questions?
No.
You go for it, Spoon. I'm sure you have something really great. Go.
Okay then.
Spit it out.
Do you
Hit it.
Do you frequently cut your nose hair?
No.
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 Oh.
Not frequently.
That's your best
What do you
question
mean?
ever, Spoon.
What do you
It
mean by
wasn't the question.
frequently?
Well, I use a hedge trimmer, you see. And but-
I mean, I more pluck
Oh,
than
pluck.
cut.
So you stick your fingers
Yeah, I
right up
pluck.
there and yank 'em down, then?
Yeah,
Do you do a
bear
karate
tweezers.
ki? Cha!
Yes.
You
do
have to because it's a painful thing. It's a painful thing to do.
Do you have to shout when you do it? Because it's quite painful, you know.
I find that's the best way of doing it.
Oh.
I do it just like I used to do the karate in the jungle. Cha! 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 Especially when you're about to go into a very important meeting, right, Spoon? And you look in the mirror in the car and you realize there's 3 or 4 little hairs hanging down with a bogey sticking them all together.
Yes.
You grab that bogey and you go, cha!
Do you know, I did that
Comes
once.
out like a little 5-legged crab.
It does, yes. I did that once at a service station. And I grabbed so much hair, a bit of brain came down with it too.
Oh, go right there.
No,
Not
let's
much
go.
to
Let's
go
go for the
around.
proper question. Okay, I'm going to go for the proper question.
Oh,
Do you-
I keep expecting a proper question, and then
You go-
you say you're going to do a proper question, and then when you say the proper question, then you tell me it's not a proper question. I'm getting very confused. Was the nose hair a proper question?
No.
No. Well, I'm not happy here on this podcast, and of course,
So he's a
yeah,
liar.
and of course, as we know,
I haven't led you astray yet, Andy.
I was empathetic with Spoon when I came on, but now I can see that there's some evil doings here, and
Yes.
I may have to get very angry and
Oh,
have a rant
no.
if we're not careful,
Oh,
which
no.
hopefully will get the views up on your channel.
That's
So
exactly
Spoon,
the
can
point.
you please? I mean, are you going to ask a serious question or not? That's what I want to know.
Yes, serious question coming. Do you remember a band called Quill? Birmingham-based band?
Yes, I do remember the band called Quill.
There you go.
That's the one. Formed in 1972.
That's them. Now, would you class
Yes.
them as a proggy rocky band or a
Not really.
more rock?
More rocky with some folk influences.
Ah.
Now, for the viewers out there, I did drum for Quill for a number of years, which may seem like something special. But I could tell you a story that my mother-in-law once got into a taxi, and the taxi driver says, "Oh, does your son-in-law play any instruments?" And she said, "Yes, he's a drummer." And she very proudly said, "He drums for Quill." And the taxi driver turned around and went, "Oh, that's interesting. I used to play guitar for Quill." So there's been so many people go through that band over the years that
Oh, there is,
yeah,
yes.
you know, in the West Midlands.
What brand of music would you call the combination of folk and rock? Would that be folk?
I would go for frock,
Frock.
not fock. I wouldn't go for fuck because, of course, that is very close to the name of the German aeroplane, the Fokker Wolf.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the Fokker Wolf.
Right. And if they wanted you off the stage,
Yeah.
and if they said this is your last song, and after that we need to get the rock off.
Exactly.
If it was the other one,
Yeah.
it might be a problem.
And of course, we'd be all, anyone who played that would be a little Fokker, wouldn't they?
I would.
Yeah. Now you're interrupting Spoon. I think I like you, Andy.
Yeah, well, do you remember the great British comedian from Liverpool, Stan Boardman, who did a comedy routine about the Fokker Wolf on Des O'Connor? Do you remember that? General Spanner, you may not remember that, being from the New World.
I don't.
Yes, he used to have a routine. Stan Boardman. They bombed our chip shop. Come on. Do you not know Stan Boardman?
No.
The Liverpool comedian. I'm looking at blank faces here.
Yes.
I once played in Minehead at Minehead Butlins, and I was following this guy towards the Butlins.
Name dropper.
And as I was driving, the car in front hit this badger and killed it. The badger span and landed in the road dead. And when I got there, we were opening up for the great Stan Boardman of the Fokker joke, the guy who originated the Fokker joke. And as I walked in, he turned round to me and says, "You're right, mate." And then he said, and this is word for word what he said, "I just twatted a badger." And it was he was responsible for the badger's death. Stan Boardman was.
I don't know why that's funny, but it really is.
Well,
I think it's a good conversation starter.
yes. So,
Well, how are you doing today? Oh, I just twatted a
yeah,
badger.
that's what was basically what happened. You know, I walked in, hello, and I can't do a Liverpool accent. I'm not very good at accents, you see, but
Happy days, mate. Happy days. I just twatted a badger,
there,
mate.
that was Australian, that one.
That is not Liverpudlian. I know Gavin Davies. He can do a good Liverpudlian.
Well, get him up.
So,
then.
how would
Oh.
if Gavin were to say, "Hello there, mate. I've just twatted a badger," in Liverpudlian, what would that sound like? So we can picture my scene a little bit better for the viewers.
Right there, mate. I just twatted a badger.
Oh my God! I'm back there. Oh, it's like a flashback. Oh, don't do that again. Can you not do that again? Oh, that was weird. That was weird. Oh, I didn't expect this sort of experience. Oh.
Now, let's hear you say, "I'd like a Coke and a bag of chips," or the other way around.
You want me to say that?
Yeah, in the Liverpudlian thing again. Do that
I'd like a Coke and a bag of chips, please.
I feel like I'm going to get mugged.
No, I've just had the wheels off your car.
You got to watch those Scousers.
Yes, I know.
You
I know.
have.
Well, Gavin Davis's favourite bloke is that Paul McCartney, you see. And as he's such a brilliant Scouser, I mean, he's lost his Scouse now, really. I mean, he's a little bit of a wish-wash of Scouse and London, isn't he, really? He's not so brilliant at it. But when he was a proper Scouser, I used to copy every word he said.
Did you?
No, Gavin did.
Oh,
Gavin
God.
did, sorry.
Yes. Yeah. What about you, General Spanner? Who's your favourite Liverpudlian?
Well, I kind of like Paul as well, because he's born on the same day as me, June the 18th, so he's a fellow Gemini.
Oh,
And we think roses are red, violets are blue, I'm schizophrenic, and so am I.
And you
But
know,
he plays the bass backwards.
he does do that.
you know our other writer, that Tom Clark Hillicus? You know him? Do you remember him?
I am aware of... He's a bald bloke, isn't he? He's a
Oh,
bald...
yes, he's a right slapper.
He's one of those
Yeah, it's a
slapheads.
slaphead.
Oh, yes.
I think he, as well as being a writer, I do believe he plays the upright bass. You know, another
does.
guy that cannot hold the bass the right way, like Paul McCartney. He plays the upright bass. I do believe I've done some concerts with him. in various
Oh.
stages of my career. Yes, I do believe that is the case. Tom Clark Hillicus, yes.
You actually played at his mother's 80th birthday in the middle of a town called Droitwich Spa, and his mother was wearing a star-spangled banner-type little suit, and she tap-danced in the middle of it. Do you remember?
I do remember that very well. It was a very pleasant evening, that was, full of lots of jollity, lots of jazz, and lots of nice positive vibes.
Oh, very good.
Yes. So now you understand what sort of a person he was created by.
Yes, he was. But
Crazy little lady that tap danced, and she played the piano as well.
I do have another story about Tom Clark Hillicus where I was very lucky to play for the rock
Go for
god.
it.
I was lucky to play for the rock god Robert Plant for a number of years, and we did get a proper bass player in eventually. But the first person to audition for it was Tom Clark Hillicus, who made what is known in England as a pig's ear of that audition. And I don't know how Robert Plant did this, but it was so awful that at one point all the power failed in the whole of Worcestershire, thus bringing the audition to an end. Yes, it was a very strange event, which is scorched on my mind, because I then wanted to, as Tom just, dug himself into a deeper and deeper hole, I just wanted to sort of disassociate with this person, because I brought him in and I felt that it would sort of maybe tar my chances with Robert. So I felt like Peter, denying him a few days later to Robert, which I do feel bad about. But it's all water under the bridge now, I think. But as long as
all water under the bridges.
As long as Tom Clark Hillicus never sees this video, we'll be all right. I'm sure he won't.
Oh, no.
He
no,
doesn't.
No.
He doesn't know about YouTube.
No.
He's tied up in a room somewhere. We just leave him tied up in the room writing, and on that occasion I throw him some scraps.
What sort of scraps?
Well, generally pig's ears, because he loves those.
Yeah, well, that's the trauma. That's the trauma of the event that I've just described. It's like he's eating his own guilt, swallowing down his own faults. The biggest gig he could have ever had with the rock god that is Robert Plant. Don't worry, he won't be watching this either.
Yes.
If you are watching, Robert, hello, you're right, mate.
Well, do you know Gavin Davis?
Mm.
Gavin Davis has met Robert Plant.
Oh!
He went, yes, I walked up to him, and he's not a slaphead.
No, definitely not.
No, so I didn't go up to him and go slap on the top of the head, because that would have been silly,
Yeah.
No, I walked up to him and went, hello, and that was it.
And what did you say
He said,
back?
hello.
Yes.
He grunted hello, I think.
Yes.
But we was at a party, you see. There was a friend of my, Gavin Davis's wife's, you see. And it was a very, very sort of tenuous sort of thing where we just walked away. That's Robert Plant, someone said. And I said, is it Robert Plant? And he said, yes, I'm Robert Plant. And that was it.
Yes.
That was
Wow.
it. Yes, very tenuous.
I'll never forget when Johnny Depp said to me, "Hey, man, it was so cool." I passed him on some stairs and I said, "Hey." And he went, "Hey, man."
Really?
And I went, "Whoa. Let me write that down."
Well, my claim to fame.
How can we find your YouTube channel?
What? Wait, I'm so successful. You'll just find it. If you just go onto YouTube or Google and write Andy Edwards in, you will find it. It won't take much searching.
Nice.
I have been able to impinge myself culturally on the digital landscape pretty well over the last few years. I think there's a lesson to be learned there for everybody who doubted me.
Who doubted you? Go on, tell us.
Oh, the music world. There I did, banging my head against the music world, trying to get inroads. So, and I've done little bits and bobs. But, in the end, I had to turn to becoming an influencer rather than a drummer, which is what I am now, is an influencer.
So
I'm an influencer.
Who's your most famous Well, not famous. I think that's the wrong word to say, really. But who do you think you influence the most? Old people?
Who do I influence them? There's many old people that I influence. I have been able to get inroads into various factions of the right wing, Trump supporters. You know, I've got a line straight to Trump. I think all the older, grumpiest. You know, not happy with life. You know, not happy with where they've ended up. Those types of people. You know, the Farage voters. I think that's what the market I've managed to corner over on YouTube, which is the best market to go for. If I would suggest you, if you really do want to make inroads into YouTube, find out a way you can get to that you know, that demographic. If you could, they will never let you down. Never let you down.
Right. So, Spanner, we've got to look
As
for
far
old,
as what?
old people.
As far as saying, hey, we didn't like that remark. We know where you live.
That's the type of thing that you will get. Yes,
that's exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah, if you could go for that, you know, because even if they hate you, they will still come back. Angry.
I tell you what, Spanner, what we need to do is get Jazzcat riled up, get him really angry, and let him go off on one. He'd be good.
Get out.
Well, the other thing is,
get off my leg.
Is the jazz people they do get very upset very easily. The jazz people do.
Oh.
Yes, I found this.
It's very easy to upset a jazzer, isn't it?
Oh, it is.
Ask them to play a normal tune.
Well, they
Just say, can you play that properly?
But they elicit some sort of self-worth by their ability to play those old tunes, you see. It's a very odd phenomenon.
Oh.
Yes, you know. Stella by Starlight.
Yes, basically, just grab an instrument and don't keep still on it and you're a jazzer.
Yes, that's right. When I was in the rock bands and they found out I was into jazz, they used to get me to do a jazz swing on my ride cymbal and then pick my drumsticks up and throw them at the snare drum.
Really?
In their mind, emulating what a jazz drummer does.
Well, yes, it does. Well, whilst we're on the subject of drums then,
yes,
and as I love drums because I think I said in our last interview that I'm being taught by a young gentleman called Animal.
Oh, Animal!
Do you remember? Yes, Animal. Yes.
Yes.
He doesn't say a lot.
No.
Tries to bite me quite often.
Yes.
Yes, on occasion he just throws up for no apparent reason. I don't know why.
Are you getting much out of those lessons, though? Because because I knowing about.
I get a hell of a lot of abuse.
Knowing a little bit about drumming, when I listen to Animal, I can hear a very strong influence from Ronnie Verrell.
Oh.
Who was the drummer in the Ted Heath Big Band, I believe.
Yes.
Is it the late Ronnie Verrell?
Right, late.
Yeah,
was he always late to gigs then?
Not when he's
Tom
alive.
Clark Hillikus played with him.
Did Tom Clark Hillikus?
Tom Clark Hillikus did a gig with and he did make a pig's ear out of that gig.
Well, that would have been an incredible gig if you think about it, because within that gig, because I do believe that Tom Clark Hillikus at one point was the voice of a famous breakfast cereal character. And so on that gig, unbeknownst to the jazz audience that was listening to this said Stella by Starlight, they would have not known that they would have had Animal from the Muppets alongside whatever it was, the Honey Monster.
Tony the Tiger.
Tony the Tiger. Was anybody...
I thought he was the Quaker.
I think a few people thought it was great.
Oh, do it again. That was almost like going back in time.
Tom showed me how to do it. I might have to change my voice. I'm like, great. I think he might have done it like that.
I think.
I managed to repress the flashback then. But I was nearly back at 12 Turton Street in Kidderminster, you know, hurriedly trying to get through my... What was it? What were they called? Not Cocoa Pops.
Kellogg's
Frosties. That was it.
Frosties.
Oh, all that brand linking to that character Never worked.
Part of this balanced breakfast for crackheads.
Yes, very good, yes.
Sugar, the oldest form of crack.
Do you know what?
Let's put it on these cornflakes.
What did Tony the Tiger think of the Honey Monster? Were they friends or were they enemies?
About the honey, Bobby. We were buddies for a while until we were auditioning for the same job.
Oh, I bet that happened.
And then I got it, but he thought that he'd been there first, so I seemed as. Thomas seemed to be a bit of a poacher.
And then it.
But actually, he told me about a session where he was sitting next to the Honey Monster. Yeah, down here. And he was across the table from the Nesquik Bunny.
It's chocolatey.
And they had all just been banned from English television because they passed legislation that sugared cereals should not be forced on children by talking animated characters. So they were working on a plan to sell Knock Knock, Who's There? Biggish, Biggish you!
So, what have you got anything that you'd like to promote, Andy, apart from your YouTube? Are you all going on tour? Doing any gigs anywhere? Anything like that?
At the moment, I am playing with Tim Bonus, who is a progressive rock artist who also works with Stephen Wilson from Porcupine Tree. I'm doing that at the moment and doing some gigs with him. I have, what else am I doing? I have a sort of jazz fusion band called Law of Three, which features a really incredible guitarist called Roy Marchbank, who is a little bit like Alan Holdsworth in his approach. Very, very good guitarist. What else am I up to? The thing is with the YouTube, it does take up a lot of your time, without a doubt. I seem to be only doing that at the moment, endlessly.
Right, guys, thank you so much. Andy, I'd love to talk to you anytime. Any time.
Lovely.
Absolutely fabulous. Loved speaking to you. And we have our favourite thing. I love drums, you love drums, and we love talking silly. So that's good.
Bye, Spoon. Bye, General Spanner.
Don't hang up.
Bye, all the viewers.
Okay.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Stop the recording, Spoon.